In this video, I will show you how to do validations for this add transaction. So we will be using Zord library and we will see the most simple way how to integrate this and how to make the validations work in Next.js. And it will be in a simple way and easy steps. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's install the Zord first. So if I go over here, the npm and we have a command to install Zord here. So npm install Zord. So we copy this and then we install it over here. So my server is also already running. So you can install it by running this command. Okay, since I have it already installed, I'll go to the code and you can see we have this form that is the add transaction form. Okay. So next what I will do is I will import this use action state and I will also make this uh, so I will put this autofill so this will come over here. So I'm using the use client over here and then I'm also using use action state and then down I will be using the and I'll be using the default variables for it. Okay, and here this will be my action. So I have not created any action, so it will be create transaction. Okay, so we have a separate folder for action. So this will be the actions, like when we submit the form. So the processing of the form will be into this action. So for the form, we are using use client, and for the server part, we'll be using a server component, server action that will be stored into the actions folder. Okay, so this will be the server actions, and let me first create the server action here. So let me say new file .tsx. Okay, so we created this new file, and now what we are going to do is we are going to import the dependencies, and you can see I'm using the server over here. Okay, to do this. So now next part is creating a form schema. Okay, so const. Okay, so I'll just use some autofills, const form schema, and you can see I'm getting this autofill over here. So I'm going to include this. Okay, so amount. So we have amount column, type column, and the description column that we are going to store. And these are the normal validations that I will keep over here. So next part is let's do the function now. So okay, so let's do export and we use the form data over here and we use the previous state because we have to send this previous state back to the form page, to the add form page, add transaction page. Okay, so once I click on this, next we do is we define the form data over here. Okay, the raw data. So this is the raw data that will be coming over here. So that will be amount. Okay, amount, type. Okay, and the form data is the description. Okay, so we are going to get this data over here. So next what we are going to do is const validated result is equal to this. Okay, so raw data. So we are using the safe pass function of the Zord now to pass the data and to see if any validation exists. The next part is this. What we do is we validate. If it is not successful, then we send the error messages back to the component, okay, to the client component. That is a add transaction form. Okay, so next is you can see I'm sending this message validation error, flatten and field errors. So this will give me the field errors, and I'm also sending the raw data back. So we need this data in order to pre-fill the form. Okay, next once we do this, next we type state. So we have to use type state, okay, and then we use the error variables that we are going to use, okay, and let format this properly. And okay, so these are the error variables, and then it is stored in the initial state, and this is the create transaction, okay. So once we do this, okay, now what we need to do is add an action to the form. Before that, let's also include the use effect so we can print the validation here. So import use effect. Okay, so and then what we can do is we can print the validation over here. So use effect. Okay, so this will print the validation errors. So if we have any, so it will give us the validation error data. Okay, so we know in the console what are the errors. And also now what I will do is I will include a method. Let's use the form action now. So if I go down here near my form and let's put an action over here. Action is equal to form action. Okay, so this will go when we click on this form, this will go to the create transaction, and based on that give us error, okay, give us the actual data. Okay, so and let's keep the type of button as submit, and let's remove the dummy from here. Okay, so let's give it save transaction. Okay, now let's go to our application. Okay, and you can see that the save transaction has been loaded over here. The transaction form has been loaded, and then if I go to the inspect element, I clear this. Okay, now if I say groceries, okay, first let's see what are the validations that we have provided. So first one is a number, second one is we have to select income or expense, and the third one it has to have 5 minimum characters. So let's create some uh, issues first, errors first, and then we'll see if it is printing. So I put something over here. Okay, amount. Okay, I think we need to change the form. Okay, let's create a HTML for the same, and we are going to use this HTML that is getting auto completed now. Uh, so based on a selected item, based on a field, so we are generating this HTML. So you can see that my entire HTML is up now. Okay, and you can see that I have included the form action into this. Okay, and then I've also included the select option, that is income or expense. Okay, now we also need to show the validation messages in here. So let's put the validation messages here after this field. Okay, so we put the validation message just below this. Okay, so this will show the validation messages that we have. Also, we have to put it under this field. Okay, then for the description. Okay, and then okay, so we have this validation messages over here. Okay, right now I'm only taking three fields and okay, let's remove the date column, date entry from this. So we do not have a date entry. And then let's run our application. So let's see, let's go to the transaction now and let's add something over here and see what we are getting. So we are getting some amount. So, okay. So I'm just going to put some text if I can. No, so description, I'll just put one. And let's see if some validation errors are we are getting. So we can see that we are getting validation errors here and it's also displaying into the form. So description must be at least 5 characters. Okay, but the data is not getting persisted. So we will keep the data persisted, and so what we will do is we are already sending the data. If you see the create transaction, we are already sending the raw data if there are validation issues. So now in the add, what we need to do is we need to, okay, let's pass also the values over here. So we get the values as well in the in the loaded data, that is when the validation errors happen, then also we have the form data pre-filled. Okay, we have added this, and then what we need to do is we also need to update the value to the persisted data. So let's update this value. Okay, let's update this value to the data. Okay, then again we have this over here for the select option. Okay, and for the description also we add that value. Okay, so it is added at the end. You can see that the description also is preloaded. So let's save this and let's check our code over here. Okay, let's go to all transactions over here and let's create a new transaction. Okay, and then let's add amount. Okay, and let's add income or expense and just let's add this. And let's see, and we can see that the data is now persisting into the form. And then if I put some more data over here, okay, so if I reload this page, so if I put some valid data now, okay, so let's create some data over here and let's add something over here, and the amount is 2, and let's click on add, and you can see that our transaction is now been added, okay, into the database. Okay, you can see this 2 and this is my description and the type is thing is income. So this is how the Zord validation works. So I made it simple. So if you have any queries, post into the comments and I will answer them. And I will also make a new video regarding this validations for the edit form. So thanks for watching, guys.